Hello everyone. I am Divya Kapoor, and I am a head teacher in Pragyan School, India. And I'm really glad today to be here amidst you to be sharing my views on how technology can be useful for breaking learning barriers. Well, I think the time from technology has been with us. It has always been helpful in a lot of ways, especially in education. In the education today, all our students are not the same. Neither do they have the same needs. So, as a teacher, while we are in the classroom, it becomes very difficult sometimes to be able to cater to each and every child. And here is exactly where technology comes forward, because technology can help us breaking the barriers that our students have inside the classroom. George Couros has rightly said, technology will never replace great teachers, but technology in hands of great teachers can be transformational. So, we are here today with the agenda on four important topics. First, why are students different? Second, technology as the solution to help our students. Third, some amazing tools that can help you create a difference in your classroom. And finally, some takeaways from today's session. So without further ado, let's begin. So this picture is a very common picture. I'm sure a lot of you must have seen it before. But it does raise a lot of questions in our mind. All of these are different, yet all have to be appearing for similar sort of assessments. Why is that so? Is it fair? Is equal always fair? Well, I don't think so. I think each and every child is different, unique, and their needs are also different. And being an educator, it becomes the responsibility of each one of us to be able to cater to their unique needs. So let's ponder upon what kind of problems our students are facing and why are they exactly different. Students can be different based on their prior knowledge experiences. They might be coming from different cities, different states, different countries across the world. They surely have different personalities, different cultural backgrounds, different preferences in life. Each of them might just like a different thing, maybe learning in different ways. Their readiness to learn is also different. Gender surely is a difference for us, for many of us. And their interests. All of these bring about the changes that students face while they are selecting the kind of pedagogy that they like more when they're learning. What other things can actually cause problems in a classroom learning? These things can be lack of student visualization, barely chalk and talk, when the teacher is just coming in and speaking herself out, not realizing whether her students are being able to comprehend what she's saying. Rote learning and memorization. Learning gaps which generally arise because of students not being able to question their own doubts. Lack of involvement. Sometimes as teachers, we're not able to gather the attention of the students for a long time, due to which they lose interest in the class and whatever they are being taught. Fear of failure is surely a very important point to be considered here. Many of our students don't even try to do things just because they feel they're going to fail. Fear of basic concepts in the different subjects like calculations in mathematics, basic scientific concepts, grammar in English. So fear of basic concepts is also a problem. And definitely no element of surprise in the classroom. So how do we prepare ourselves as teachers? It's very important for a teacher and educator to be able to prepare themselves if they really need the change that they're looking for in their students and in their classroom. Self-belief is where we need to start with. As a teacher, you need to believe that you're going to be bringing out the best in your children. Next is laying clear objectives in front of them so that they are clear, that is, at the end of a session that they're attending with you, what is it that they should be looking forward to learning. Surely, adequate planning is another important thing that a teacher should be keeping in mind when she plans her sessions and classes. Pedagogical changes. With that, I mean that she really needs to explore the different sorts of pedagogies and technological tools when she enters her classrooms, making sure that all of her students' needs are met. Definitely giving an open channel for communication in the classrooms so that students are not hesitant in walking towards her and sharing their doubts and their apprehensions. And surely reflecting adequately. A teacher always needs to stop and reflect how a session went, whether she could have improved something more in her particular session. Once we are prepared, we also need to bring in the technological intervention, exactly why we are here today, to be talking about more about how technology can be helping teachers in their classroom. So technology surely, as per me, is the ultimate solution because it has so many varied apps, tools that it provides to teachers today so that they're able to tackle each and every problem that is coming their way. But why should one use technology? Technology helps teachers put forward a differentiated instruction in front of our students based on their needs and learning styles. It also provides students with personalized learning. Each child might have a different pace, a different level, a different style of learning. They also might take different time to learn different things. So technology helps us in providing that personalized experience to each of our students. Not just that, it also helps provide personalized feedback. Today, we have some amazing apps, some of which we're going to discuss in the later half of my presentation, where we will know how those apps helps a teacher to provide personalized feedback, one-on-one feedback to the students. Freedom of expression. That too is very important. Many times we are not able to find out what our students are thinking. So it's important that these technological tools help those students who do not want to come forward and talk in front of their peers. Student ownership and surely effective assessment. Here, let's look at the Bloom's digital taxonomy. So Bloom's has 6 different levels of learning, and at each level of learning, we can have different digital tools, different ways and means of incorporating these levels of learning. Starting from remembering, we can use bookmarking, copying, highlighting, to applying, where we can do calculating, editing, uploading, and finally coming to the creating level where students can be blogging, podcasting, and even directing. So based on this kind of a Bloom's taxonomy, we are now going to be looking at some tools that are really, really beneficial in a classroom to provide the students with differentiated learning and personalized learning environments. So let's move on to our first tool for today, which is Adobe Spark. Adobe Spark is a great tool for visual and auditory learners. Why should you be using Adobe Spark? First of all, it is free and easy to use. It helps develop creativity. Students' voice, it helps raise students' voice. It gives them the opportunity to be creatively presenting themselves and their thought process in front of their teachers. It helps them visualize thinking and work collaboratively to put forward projects, learnings, and concepts in front of the teacher. What all can we create using Adobe Spark? We can be creating posters, memes, comic strips, presentations, projects, and research findings. Here are a few activities I would like to discuss. The first one being the starter activity, that is Adobe Spark can be used for various things in a classroom. You can use it to introduce a topic or a concept. You can further on use it to build a concept and even use it for recapitulation at the end of a concept. So here, this is a starter activity on 3-dimensional shapes in mathematics. So here, the students were provided with this particular poster and they were asked to look at all the stationary items, the three-dimensional stationary items that they have around with them, and try creating objects, try putting them together to create objects to understand how these three-dimensional shapes work in real life. Moving forward, they were further asked to express their learning, whatever they had created, in the form of a poster with their classmates, which could be created on Adobe Spark. The next activity where I used Adobe Spark was for recap. Now, a topic again in mathematics is congruence of triangles. In this particular topic, I used Adobe Spark to create a web page. And this web page consisted of all the information that was taught to the students during a particular lesson, along with examples, figures, all the demonstrations that were made in different classes on this particular topic. I also included activities, videos, worksheets, and practice quizzes to make sure that while they are revising all of this, they are able to check if they have been able to understand their learning. So this was another interesting way of being able to use Adobe Spark. Coming on to the second tool that we have for today, which is Google Earth. Now, I think all of you must have heard of Google Earth, but how does Google Earth help in a classroom? Well, it helps provide a visual kinesthetic experience for those of your learners who want to move around and yet learn. So it provides them a visual kinesthetic experience. That is, you can actually show them things moving around while sitting at one place in front of their computer screens. Three important things that Google Earth helps with in a classroom is building connection between real life objects and your students. Second, giving them the visualization. Not every child has a visualization of whatever we're talking about. And sometimes just seeing images doesn't excite them enough. But when they actually see them in three-dimensional, in real, using Google Earth, the surprise element that sets in is really, really amazing. So it helps break the monotony of a classroom. Using Google Earth, what we can do is create interdisciplinary projects. Like you can club in history and mathematics, you can club in geography and mathematics, or you can just talk about things from around the world. A student staying in the United States might not have seen the 7 wonders of the world. A student staying in India might not have seen the Statue of Liberty. So you can actually bring them to experience these things on the map, on the globe of Earth, and see them in real time moving, so that they bring around the feeling of actually visiting that particular place. Next, we can have treasure and scavenger hunts. We can even go with data analysis and presentations using Google Earth. Now let's take a look at some activities. So this is a maths-based activity wherein the concept of integers, that is negative numbers, is being taught to the students using the example of temperature. So because I'm from India, so I gave them the example of India, wherein that the different markings that I've made on the map are in different areas in India, and they're either very cold regions where they have negative temperature, or they are hotter regions with positive level of temperature. So with these examples, they were told to go and find out the data analysis of the past 1 week from the time when this activity was taken, as to what was the temperature of these places and how could they compare these temperatures, then coming to the concept of negative and positive numbers. Next, like I was talking about, is yet an very interesting activity, which is wonders of the world. So most of our students have not been around seeing the wonders of the world. So let me show you what kind of an experience happens when you move around and show them on Google Earth the different wonders of the world. So it comes across in the form of a presentation where the teacher has already marked the different wonders of the world. And then while she is teaching or taking that topic up in the class, she can be playing this presentation and she can be showing them how the different wonders of the world look like. So I'm going to be presenting the presentation for you, and please take a look for yourself as to how beautifully the software does it. So here we've reached Taj Mahal in India. Moving on to the next wonder of the world. So how it is moving so that real feel and element of excitement sets in. The Colosseum, we've reached the Colosseum. So I'm sure the students, they just get excited seeing how they've reached a particular place and how it is looking in real world and what are the places around it. So likewise, all the seven wonders of the world can be shown to the students using Google Earth. Again, we've reached Chichen Itza. So the real life experience of being able to visit these places, what are the kind of geographical structures they're related around? Is it plains? Is it mountain area? Is it desert area? A lot of geographical elements can be talked about. Here we are at the Great Wall of China, and so on and so forth. We can keep moving and discussing different elements related to history as to when each of these wonders were built, by whom were they built, and how old are they, what was the material used in their building up. So all these things can be discussed. So like I said, well integrated and interdisciplinary projects can be created, and classes can be made much more fun using this particular tool. Next is another activity, which is an assessment activity, again based on the different structures in India itself. And here they've been asked to convert the structures, their heights. The heights have been given to the students in the structure, and they've been asked to convert it into different measurements and into different units of measurements. So that's how Google Earth can really, really help you making your classroom fun. Moving on to the third tool that we have today, which is Pixton. Now, the first two tools that I have discussed with you were Adobe Spark, where children were creating videos, they were creating posters, they were creating memes. The second one was more for visual kinesthetic experience. The third tool gives the element of storifying your classrooms. I'm sure all of us have learned and have heard stories from our grandparents in our childhood. And all of us love to hear stories, especially when we are children. So this tool actually helps you create stories in your classroom. It can be used both ways. It can be used as an educator, where the educator uses the tool to create a story and set up a context to start a particular topic in the class. Whereas on the other hand, it can be used by the students, where the educator provides them with a problem and they are creating a story to find the solution of that particular problem. So we're going to look at both the kind of things that we can do with Pixton, starting with the first one, like I said, where we use it for the introduction of a particular topic, which I've taken as surface area. Well, I think by now you would have known that my core area of teaching is mathematics. So all the examples that I've given are more or less from mathematics. But nevertheless, so this particular comic strip has been created by the teacher, where she's wanting to tell her children that she would like to renovate their classroom. She would like to do a makeover for them, but she's not sure of the kind of budget and money that's going to be spent for this particular makeover. So she seeks help from her own students, to which the students tell her that until she clarifies as to what kind of renovations she's thinking for, they will not be able to help her. So she then clears that she's going to be painting the walls with bright colors. She wants to redo the tiles. She wants to redo the windows and the doors. And then the students themselves come up to the point that this all can only be done with the knowledge of area. So without actually telling them, going straight away to the class and saying, okay, students, today we're going to be studying this. This way, the teacher put forward to them a story and asked them that, what is your thought process and what do you think we're going to be studying today? So this led to the conclusion that, yes, we are going to be studying a new topic today. And at the end of this particular topic, we will be able to find out the problem, the solution of this particular problem. Moving ahead, like I said, the second way where the students are using this tool to express their knowledge and to find out problems, solutions to problems that the teacher has posed to them. So this is a problem where a restaurant owner is in a confusion that whether he is actually making profit out of his restaurant or not, to which he seeks help from his friend Kritika and asks her that I'm not able to find out if I should still be running this restaurant. Do I have extra funds? And can I start another chain? So to which Kritika asks from him some diagnostics, some statistics as to how many customers visit his restaurant, what is the expenditure that he does weekly, what is the expenditure that his customers are doing when they come to his restaurant. And based on all of that, finally the students are coming up with the conclusion that the restaurant owner is actually making a profit of 3,50,000 rupees per week. So to that, it gives a whole different dimension to the students, because just giving them this question and having them solve it in the class sometimes becomes very, very monotonous. Not just in mathematics as a subject, but you talk about grammar in English, you talk about geography, or you talk about history, or even so if you talk about sciences. Every time going on direct head on with a concept brings in monotony in the class. But with these kinds of tools, when we try to maneuver the way we are teaching our students, we are giving them a different platform to express their knowledge. It surely brings in an interesting element in the classroom. Now, the same problem, if a child is even more willing to, add in his bit, his personalized touch to this particular solution, so that can be done using app smashing. App smashing as in combining the benefits of two apps to create a third result out of it, a third end product out of it. So here what I've done is all the dialogues that I created on Pixton, the same were then put into Adobe Spark to create a video out of it. So I'm going to be showing that video to you so that you can actually judge for yourself as to how two different apps can be brought in together, and you can actually give your own voice, record your own voice to this particular video.
Real-life problems are fun to solve when done using technology. We have one such problem today where a restaurant owner is trying to find out if he is into profit or loss. He seeks help from his accountant Kritika to find out if he's making profit or loss in his business. Kritika.
So exactly like you're seeing that this particular video has been created on Spark. And so, we have actually used the benefits of two apps to create a third end product. Well, I'm sure by now all of you have geared up and have started noting down the benefits of the tools that I'm sharing with you so that you yourself can be using it in your classroom with your students. So at this point, I would like to tell that Pixton can be used to storifying concepts, to build interest and engagement in the classroom, and surely to give a new platform to help your students express their learning and find problems, solutions to real life problems. Moving ahead to the fourth tool that we have for today. Well, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this tool because this has become one of the most favorite tools of educators during the last 1 year in the COVID pandemic time. How can this tool be used to make a difference to your classroom, and not just not just as a tool, but actually bring about some help to those students who are disabled also? So let's see. There are three ways in which this particular tool can help educators and students. The first one is it surely helps you create collections. So all our data is generally staggered away. It is haywire. It is kept at different places. This particular tool app helps you to collect all your data related to one particular thing, theme, topic at one place. Second, it gives you an opportunity of collaboration. So as an educator, you can create a page, you can give sharing codes to your students, you can invite them to collaborate and have them put each other their projects or their creativity or whatever their learning is for different projects onto the Wakelet app. Lastly, like I said, dealing with disability. So if students are facing reading disabilities or have sight problems, so for them also there is a small element in Wakelet which is very, very useful. We'll look at each one of them in detail. Let's begin with collections. So here you can see my own Wakelet page. I have different collections here, starting from my to-dos to my Wakelet journey, to how to become a Wakelet Pro, my classroom activity ideas, everything that I had at different places, stored at different places. I started putting them into one place, and so have my students as well. Second is the community showcase. So that's also a very, very good thing that the Wakelet app provides us, is that as educators, we are able to create Wakelet collections and share into the community. So you might not be an expert on something, but you will get a lot of help when you move to this community showcase. So here, the picture that I've taken, you can see that nearpod training resources have been put in by Jamie Lessard. So if someone doesn't know nearpod, he or she doesn't need to be looking around and browsing through the internet to find out the right kind of resources. You can just jump on to the Wakelet community collections and find out what you need. Moving on, reading from a collection. So like I said, that it also helps in cases of disability or in cases of lack of concentration and focus. So in this case, if you want the immersive reader option for your students, wherein the immersive reader, which is a part of the Wakelet, reads out whatever has been listed there in the collections, then that is also possible in this particular app. So you can see here, there is a set of some interesting reads that has been saved by me, and the first itself is 16 indicators of efficient teaching. So if I want my immersive reader to read it, so I will open it and select the reading option, the beta option, which provides the immersive reader to me, and I can actually have this particular reader read it out to me. So this is how it starts looking when the immersive reader is reading it. Not just that, it also provides us the grammar option. So in the given text, you can easily have students mark out the nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. So whatever text this particular immersive reader is reading out to you, it also highlights the nouns. Like you can see, all the nouns have been highlighted in purple color, all the verbs have been highlighted in red, the adjectives in green, and the adverbs in yellow. So far you cannot see yellow on the screen because no adverbs have been there so far. I'll also show you a live demo of how this particular thing works and what kind of a noise is heard or what kind of a reading is heard when you actually use this app.
By Terry Hike. Notice that I didn't use the more vague good teacher phrasing. That's an important distinction because here we're talking about something a bit more clinical.
Now, if you feel this is a little too fast for your students, so you can always go to voice settings and set it for faster or slower voice speed, as well as choose a male or a female voice to read out.
Not entirely scientific and analytical and icky, but not entirely rhetorical and abstract and mushy either.
So you see that this particular tool does help a lot of students if they are facing any sort of sight problems, or if they are facing problems of recognition, problems of reading. So if they're not able to recognize words also, then your students will be able to hear what the immersive reader is trying to read for them. Well, till now, I think we've discussed 4 amazing technological applications. and all of them have been unique in their own way. The last application that I am going to be discussing today is Flipgrid, which is also an amazing tool for student expression. We've often seen a lot of the students around us. The biggest barrier is when they're not able to express themselves. So in order to break this particular barrier, Flipgrid is a tool which provides an opportunity to the students to be able to record their learning experiences and send it across to the teacher or share it with the teacher, to which the teacher can also provide personalized feedbacks. So it is this particular tool actually helps those students who are hesitant, who do not want to come forward in front of the peers and talk or share their bit, and who might also not be comfortable with their outlook. So if a child is not very comfortable because of how he or she looks, and he feels that, if I am going to come forward, then my peers are going to mock me. So this particular tool has solutions to this problem as well. So how is Flipgrid useful? It is useful definitely for collaboration. A lot of students can come forward, record their videos and their learnings, and then mixtapes can be created out of those videos. The mixtape is a collection of shorter videos created by different students. All of them can be put together and a mixtape can be created. Second, like I said, it is a wonderful medium of expression for the students. And third, it surely helps you make connections, because from across the world, there are so many students and educators using Flipgrid that there you can make connections and you can make friends who would like to share their work with you, and you can share their work with them. How and what can be created on Flipgrid? So 3 different things can be done. First, which is one of the most useful things that you can do, is short videos. So short videos can be created where you can record yourself, where you can speak about the different things, where you can talk about the learning of a classroom, where you can talk about the positives and negatives that you felt in a particular session. You can also share with your teacher how you felt when she, put you down or she yelled at you. So all of those things can be done using these short videos. Second, which is also very useful for the teachers in giving personalized feedback, is record screen. So once your students have done and sent you a work, you can actually record your feedback on their work and send it back to them. This way, each student gets personalized feedback on the work that they have done and can actually make changes in the work and make it better by far with the personalized intervention and feedback of the teacher. And third, definitely, like I mentioned, is mixtapes, where we put in a lot of small videos together to make larger videos, which can be then be presented in the classroom or as student portfolios or collection of experiences with the students. Now, how do we record short videos? So when you move on to the Flipgrid, when you have an account there, definitely there's a record a short video option. And when you click on this video, you have so many kind of filters. Now, like I was saying, that you can add effects and filters. And if you're not comfortable with other people, with your teacher or with your peers seeing your face or looking at you, or maybe you're just not dressed well enough to be able to submit your learning and assignment, so you can surely use these filters, blur yourself out, and yet be able to give your learning and experience and put it across to your teacher. Then there's also an ink option. The ink option is more useful when there's a board created. So a board can be created, and you can simultaneously record your video with something written on the board explaining that particular learning or talking about that particular thing and creating that short video out of it. And like I said, again, if you're not comfortable, so it's not just filters, you can't, if you don't want to blur yourself out, then you can use these beautiful emojis, these beautiful human faces as emojis, and you can block your face if you're not very comfortable with your peers or other classmates or your teachers looking at you on the internet. And The last bit that I would like to share with you is the screen recording option. So like I said, it is a beautiful option that helps teachers provide personalized feedback to their students. So I have created this small video, which I'm going to show to you as to how personalized feedback can be given to students. So let's take a look.
So our today's presentation is about breaking learning barriers using technology. Technology has surely been the game changer ever since it has come into being, and especially in education.
So you see that a particular screen can be recorded. So suppose this was your student's work. So you could actually record in that screen and you can tell your student as to what he did well. You can praise him and appreciate him for that. Or you can also talk about what are the areas of improvement in the submitted assignment. So both of the things can be done using this beautiful feature of screen recording, and up to 10 minutes of recording can be done using this particular feature on Flipgrid. I have talked about a lot of tools today. And like I have said before also, that each of these tools are unique in the ways that they can help students and educators in their classroom. But these were not the only tools. When I decided I want to talk about all of this today, I had a hard time picking up what tools I should be presenting here in front of you and which of those I should be leaving behind. And I think the last 1 year has been exactly same for all the educators across the world. We are something like this picture. We're roaming around in a marketplace full of apps, full of technological tools, sometimes bewildered as to what should we be using, what is it that is appropriate for our classrooms, should they be used or not, will they actually bring out the outcome that we desire from a particular app or tool, will it be too much for my students? All these questions keep pondering, keep moving around in our heads. And I think this picture says a lot. So at the end of my talk today, I would like to say that although the market is flooded with tools, and technology surely is a game changer in improving your students' performance and breaking all the learning barriers that they have. But yet, before you use a tool, before you plan, do give a thought as to what and how are you doing. So some important pointers before we close today's talk. While you choose a tool or an app, you should be looking at its age appropriateness and how user-friendly is it. So if your children are studying in middle school or if they are high school graders, then how will they be reacting to a particular technology or app that you are using or you are wanting to use in your classroom? That first thought should always come to your mind. Secondly, potential to create a learning environment. The tool that you have used, does it have the potential to bring out the desired learning outcome that you're looking for? Or are you just using it because you want to use it? So keeping that in mind, you should be choosing the right kind of tool for your students. Third, does the tool have effective use of visuals? Does your tool actually benefit your students using visuals, or is it only about using the tool because you're wanting to use it? So do give that thought process to it. And last but not the least, does it have the ability to develop HOTS, that is higher order thinking skills amongst your students? Will it benefit them in some way? Will it bring out their learning in some way? So all of these are some important pointers that we as educators should be looking at whenever we decide to use technology in our classrooms. With that, I would like to thank all of you for being such amazing audiences and being such patient listeners. I'm sure that this talk today would have helped you in some way as to how different tools can be incorporated in your classroom, how different tools can be benefited for student needs, how different tools can actually help improve student performance, and how, as teachers, should we be ready to be using these tools in our classroom. With that, I would like to thank all of you and rest my case for today. Thank you once again.